I can't really name one person. I know I get a lot of the Steph comparisons, but I just try to pick different things from different players. Guys like Kyrie, I mean, Tony Parker, the way he finishes around the rim. Obviously, I try to get things from Steph, Damian Lillard, but my favorite player growing up has been Steve Nash. And I try to get as much Steve Nash in my game as possible.
I wanna go far, there's no stopping. I see them watching, I see them hating. One day I swear I'ma be on the station. Mama, I gotta make moves.
Trae Young is not Stephen Curry. He will never be Stephen Curry. I always hated that comparison. It's not a bad thing at all. I just hate how his career is somewhat aligned to Stephen Curry because of how he was in college, pulling up from like 30 feet, all that great dynamic stuff that he was doing with the crossovers and all that stuff. You just inevitably compared him to Stephen Curry. He's light-skinned, but Trae Young, although it's kind of unnoticed and quiet, he is definitely proven that Trae Young can make a real name for himself in this league. And I mean, as a point guard of his own, he can make some serious noise, especially being in the Eastern Conference, kind of in the low-key Atlanta Hawks team. He's definitely making moves that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about. Now, we know last year in his freshman season, especially early at Oklahoma, Trae Young got a lot of noise. He got a lot of hoopla, a lot of notoriety by NBA players, Russell Westbrook, LeBron, Stephen Curry. A lot of players noticed him because he was going off. I mean, I remember a night against Oregon, he had 43 points. He had a night against Oklahoma State where he had 48 points. He had multiple, I think, like 20 assist games. He was just seeming like the best point guard that we've seen in a long time. A lot of the stuff that we saw Lonzo Ball doing, it was almost like Trae Young took it statistically to another level. Because even though he didn't really seem to have the intangibles, or at least like the look, because he wasn't that tall, I mean, as far as his stats, he was averaging 27 points, 8 assists, 3-point wise, he was a marksman, and he was hitting them from deep. I mean, just pulling up anywhere, limitless range, Stephen Curry type of stuff. So he got all this praise, and then he got to the league, and it was like, okay, let's see if he can be Stephen Curry right away, which to me was always unfair. And even me, I even made a video titled "There's Only One Stephen Curry," basically where I broke down Trae Young's rookie season thus far compared to Stephen Curry's rookie season, and just said it's really no comparison because Stephen Curry is one of the greatest players ever, and it's hard to do that to such, a transcendent player like Stephen Curry automatically give that pressure to a rookie like Trae Young. So basically, I feel like the pressure that Trae Young was getting early was unfair. Then Luka Doncic, he got traded for Luka Doncic, and they actually moved up to get Trae Young. So that was kind of unfair because it's like, damn, Luka Doncic is the rookie of the year. Trae Young, he's a buzz. I mean, if he is a buzz, then they made the worst trade in the last century and all this stuff. Luka Doncic at only 19 is ready right now, and he's changing the whole dynamic of the Mavericks. I mean, it just seemed like Trae Young got the very, very short end of the stick. But if you look at Trae Young in this year, like 2019, this solid year, Trae Young's been balling, and it's been very, very, very unnoticed. Now, granted, his team is not very good. Right now, they're 19-40, and Trae Young, he's only a pretty short point guard, so he only can do so much in his rookie year. Most rookies don't really come in and make the team that much better, especially as a point guard. Stephen Curry didn't even do that. But as of this year, in 2019, as of January 2nd, that's when he played his first game, he's averaging 19 points per game, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 42% from the field, and 36% from deep. He's making smart shots now. At first, when the season first started, I can see that he was trying to live up to that hype and shooting from way far out and all that stuff, but you can tell the game is slowly slowing down, and he's getting a way better comprehension of how and when to make the right plays. And if you actually watch Trae Young, and it's pretty hard because the Hawks, they're not a very good team, so they're not on television a lot. Unless you live in Atlanta, you probably haven't seen a single Hawks game all year. I'm gonna be honest, I think I've watched at least 1 or 2 Hawks games all year, and that's like just skimming at it on the TV, but I haven't really sat there and watched. Who's gonna sit there and really watch the Hawks team? And I can't even really name 3 to 4 players on it. I mean, come on, it only makes sense. But if you actually really watch him play personally, his comparison to Stephen Curry is pretty inaccurate. He's more like Steve Nash with the pick and roll because he handles the ball a lot more than Stephen Curry, even has to. A lot of people to me kind of forget this, but as great as Stephen Curry is, I mean, he doesn't really have the traditional responsibilities of a point guard as far as bringing the ball up court, orchestrating, making the right plays, somewhat like a Kyrie Irving has to do, Russell Westbrook, the traditional point guard. He has more of the, do it when it's necessary, but he can also kill you off the ball and stuff like that because he has so many playmakers on his team. And that's not a knock on Stephen Curry. I mean, he's a great player. He's just in a very, very fortunate situation, but he doesn't really have those responsibilities of a regular point guard. So Trae Young, comparing him to that, and he has to, you know, have these responsibilities and make these right plays and worry about all these turnovers that he might accumulate because he handles the ball probably a little bit more than Stephen Curry has to. It's just not a fair comparison to compare someone to such a unique player in such a unique position. And that's basically the whole reasoning of this video. I know it kind of seems like it might be everywhere, but I'm just saying Trae Young, he had a lot of pressure going into the draft as far as being compared to the most unique player probably we've ever seen, Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic. Right off the back, he turned out to be a beast. And you got to remember, like I said, the Hawks traded up to get Trae Young, and you know, Luka Doncic went back to number 5 and all that stuff. So all that pressure he's had, and he's still just simply balling, and it's very unnoticed. So I wanted to kind of highlight that. But that's the video, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to highlight Trae Young. And as far as 2019 goes, he's playing some of the best rookie basketball, probably the second best rookie basketball. Him and Marvin Bagley, they might be tied, but they're really balling out. Luka Doncic is playing on another level, but Trae Young and them, they're not too far, especially statistically goes. So that's the video. Like I say, he's averaging about 18, 8, 42%, 36% from deep as far as 2019 goes. I mean, I know 2018, whatever, at the beginning, but as far as 2019 goes, he's playing some different level basketball. If you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Let me know what you guys think about Trae Young. Am I the only one noticing? Have I kind of brought light to the, you know, the subject, whatever? Do all that great stuff, guys, and until next time, stay tuned.